This is how I have configured Add Shipping Info event on more than 40 different stores in the last 4 months. So first thing first, we need to make sure that our customer events are properly working. To do that, all we have to do is go to the Shopify backend and scroll down to the settings option, which is on the bottom left corner, and then scroll to the customer events portion. Once you are on the customer event section, on the top right corner, you will see a button which says Add Custom Pixels. So let's click on that and let's rename this as Meta Add Shipping Info. Since this one will be creating a data layer, let's also add the data layer variable and hit Add Pixel. Once the pixel has been created, these settings are really important. So make sure that the permissions are set to not required and data sale does not qualify as data sales. Scroll down to the code section. You can see there is some dummy code. We are going to replace this code with the code snippet that has been provided in the description of this video. On the blog post, if you will scroll down, you will find a section where you can find the code snippet. So let's just copy the code snippet, go back to our Shopify store and paste the code snippet right here. Once the code snippet has been pasted, you can see that this will add an Add Shipping Info event on our page. The next thing we have to do is to make sure that the Google Tag Manager is not an example ID, it's an actual ID. To get the perfect ID, you can go back to your Google Tag Manager container, click on the ID on the top, and then just select the last portion and hit copy. Let's go to our Shopify backend and paste the ID right here. Now we can scroll all the way to the top and click on Save Changes and then connect this pixel with our Shopify backend. Perfect. Now we have successfully connected our Shopify store with the backend of this customer pixel. But before getting too excited, let's just make sure everything is working all right. So let's just go to our Shopify backend and go to the front end of our store. I can see that I already have some items in the cart. Now let's just click on the checkout button because that's where the begin shipping event is going to fire. To make our life a bit easier, I'm going to click on inspect this page and go to the console tab because on the developer tool, console is the page where we are going to see this event. Right now, by default, it's on the elements. Now let's just switch it to console. Once we are on the console, I'm going to start adding the shipping info right here. So let's call it tester, 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 tester. And as soon as I will go outside of this thing to add the payment info, you can see that the Add Shipping Info event has fired. It also has the e-commerce items array with all the details about the project, the value, and all the stuff that we need for the event. So we can verify that our Add Shipping Info event is working fine. So now we can go to the third step, which is adding Google Tag Manager container. So on our Google Tag Manager container, we need a few things before we can directly jump into it. So let's just go to the template section to get the tag template and the variable template that we need for the project. First thing, we need a Facebook pixel template. The template we are going to use was originally created by Simo, but it has recently been purchased by Facebook Archive team. So the name we are looking for is Facebook Pixel by Facebook Archive. On the search bar, let's search for Facebook and let's select the tag. Now we can click on Add to Workspaces, so this tag will be available for us to use in the workspace. Once this tag has been added, we can start adding the variable template. However, for the variable template, we are not going to search the gallery. In the same blog post, right under the code snippet, you will find another section where you can download this code. So let's import that variable that you have just downloaded. It is called e-commerce parameter generator.tpl. So once the parameter has been saved, let's just click on Save button and this will automatically create the template at the bottom left of the page. Once the template has been created, we can go to the variable section to create all the variables we need. For this video, we need 3 different variables. The first variable we need is Facebook Pixel ID, which is a constant variable because we have to refer to it again and again. So let's just select constant. And for the ID, we can go back to our Facebook Pixel and copy the ID right here. Once you've copied the Facebook Pixel ID, we can go back to the Google Tag Manager container and paste the ID right here. Let's rename it as Meta Pixel ID and hit Save Changes. Great. The second variable we need is for the e-commerce items array. So let's go to data layer variable and create e-commerce.items array. And let's rename it as DLV e-commerce.items and hit Save Changes. The third thing we need is the e-commerce parameter generator for Meta. The only thing it requires is the items array, so let's select that and rename this as e-commerce parameter generator Meta and hit Save Changes. Great. Now we can move on to the trigger section where we will create a trigger that will only fire on the add_shipping_info event. So let's go to new and create a new custom event and let's call it add_shipping_new. And let's rename this whole thing as custom event add_shipping_info. It was not new, it was info. Oh my god. I'm super sorry. It's add shipping info. Let's also rename this as AddShippingInfo and hit Save Changes. Great, now we can move on to the tags section, and under the tags, we are going to create the first tag. So let's click on New, and under the triggers, I'm going to select the AddShippingInfo, and for the tags, we are going to select the tag that we have just imported under the templates a few minutes ago. The only thing it needs is the Facebook Pixel ID. We have already created a variable for that, so let's select it. And the next thing it needs is the AddShippingInfo. You might notice that this name is not available in the standard one, so we are going to create a custom event for this one. So let's call it AddShippingInfo. And under the object properties, you can see an option where it says load parameters, and we're going to load all the parameters from the parameter generator variable. So let's click on save and rename this as meta AddShippingInfo and hit save changes. Unfortunately, like before, we won't be able to verify this thing with the preview event, so we have to publish the changes. So let's do tracking academy and call it meta AddShippingInfo. Great. Once the changes has been done on Google Tag Manager, let's move on to the final step, which is verifying if everything is working all right or not. So on our Shopify store, let's go to the front end again and then directly go to the checkout pages. So once we are on the cart, let's click on the checkout button. And now we have been redirected to the final checkout page. Once we are on the checkout page, let's start filling out the information again. So let's call it test@tester.com and let's call it test. Copy everything. Let's also replace everything with test. Let's also call it test, test, and test. And as soon as we will go outside of this option for AddShippingInfo, you can see that the Facebook Pixel Helper event is showing that the AddShippingInfo event has fired. This has all the details about the content IDs, content name, and everything that we need. We can also verify the same information using Facebook Pixel's test event section. So let's go to the test event section and connect our store with the backend. Once the checkout page has been loaded, we are going to do the same thing. Let's update information here. Let's call it test001@tester.com. Let's also make it tester. Let's copy it. Let's make it tester, 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 tester. As soon as we will be finishing adding information about the shipping, you can see that the customer event has been fired, and you can also see that the event has been recorded on the Facebook Test Center. It also has contents array, content name, ID, and everything that we need for the event to work. Now, if you want to see how to track ad payment info event on your Facebook Pixel, click this video right here.